Hi, Soul Family. This is Melanie, the Spirit Doula, and I am super excited about today's topic. So, today's topic is spiritual gifts. Okay, so spiritual gifts, psychic abilities, these are all gifts that are basically non-physical for the most part. They have physical aspects, but they are outside of the physical self, the physical norm, this physical construct that we're in, 3D common sense, basically. And many of you have these gifts, at least one of these gifts, or a gift that encompasses multiple gifts. Okay, so what I have done is I have basically broken down these gifts into about 33 gifts and abilities. Some of them have multiple in them, and I'm going to try my best to explain what they are. So get a pen, pencil, and a piece of paper and start writing, because some of you have asked me, what is my spiritual gift, or what do I call this thing that I have? I have I have about 33 of them, all of which can be proven, um, have been seen or is currently seen sometime in history or even now. And I have basically broken them down into 5 categories. So common, familiar, uncommon, unfamiliar, one that I call X-Men abilities, one that is new, fairly new, and one that is for a certain population of people. Okay, so let's get into the most common group of spiritual gifts or psychic abilities, and that is what I have called the clairs. Okay, the most common one is clairvoyance. Now, you guys, I know you have heard of clairvoyance. Someone is clairvoyant or has clairvoyance, and basically that is actually a combination of a couple. Um, Precognition and recognition, retrognition, which means that you're able to perceive things in the future or things in the past. These people are also called psychics, okay? And not just perceive things, but people, objects, events. You're just able to garner information. Now, this is very general, and there are specifics that we're going to get into. So many of you may say, yes, I'm clairvoyant. I have that capability. Um, if you are an empath, yes, you are clairvoyant. So let me say this. For those people that know that you are an empath, that means that several things on this list you'll be checking off, okay? If you don't know what an empath is, I'm going to actually do a video on that, or you can YouTube what is an empath, okay? So we are talking about specific spiritual gifts, okay? So the next clair is clairaudience. Clairaudience. So let me break down the word clair, C-L-A-I-R, which is basically clear, C-L-E-A-R, which means clear, right? Clear, easy. Um, and audience means from the audio, ear, hearing, okay? So someone who is clairaudient is someone that is able to hear on the spiritual realm. Now, even in that, there are multiple ways of hearing, okay? There is hearing with the ear, the physical ear. There is hearing with the inner ear. And then there's another type of sensory hearing that some people can do. So you may have clairaudience if you can hear something around you. Like you may be able to hear a sound, and you may say, "Did you hear that sound?" And people are like, "No, I didn't hear that." Okay. There's another hearing where you may hear your name called. I've heard my name called so many times, and I know many of you have heard it where you just hear your name shouted and nobody else heard it but you. Okay. There's also a hearing where you can hear high pitched frequencies, right? No one else is hearing it. You're hearing it. You're not going crazy. That is clairaudience. Okay. So the next one is claircognizance. So this is a ability where you are just able to know something. How do you know? You just know. Okay. Um, I just know that I know. And people say, "How do you know?" I don't know how I know. I just know that's what it is. It just came to me. People that are claircognizant are able to get information like this. Okay. And they have no idea. They didn't study a thing. It doesn't make sense that they know. They just know. People that are claircognizant are often people that doubt their knowing. Do not doubt your knowing. If you know that you know and you have no idea why you know, sit on that. If people don't believe you, so what? Stay with that. Okay. The next clear is clear sentient. So these are people that are able to feel on the spiritual realm. So you're able to feel something touch you or nudge you. Okay. I have been driving and fallen asleep, and I have literally felt like a shaking, like something shook me. Um, During channelings, I'm able to feel hugs. I'm able to feel things on my body, on my forehead. I'm able to just feel things. That is clear sentience. Okay. The next clear is clear gustance. So this is an interesting one. It is very rare, but you are able to taste things. You're able to taste something without knowing how you can taste it. You just have a taste in your mouth. Where is this coming from? Okay. Um, I'm tasting some pizza. Where is that coming from? Or something out of the ordinary, or some seasoning or something. And you're like, I didn't eat that. Why am I tasting this? Okay. A lot of people who are gifted um, in herbal healing or medicine or cooking, making foods, are able to taste. And they don't know why they have this heightened sense of taste, but this is actually a spiritual gift. Okay. The next one is called clairvoyance. Okay. This is a spiritual ability where you are able to smell. Okay. You're able to smell something. Now, let me tell you, this is another gift that I have. And this has literally freaked me out. Some of you may know this. You may smell something that no one else is smelling. You may smell the scent of a loved one in just a specific area of your home. I have literally walked down the steps, and in one area, there's like a landing, and I smell one of my grandmothers. And the smell reminds me of like eggs and grits. It is such a unique smell, but it is a smell I remember of her house as a child. And I'm like, I smell grits and eggs. And then I walk down the steps, I don't smell it down there. I walk back up and I smell grits and eggs. And it would just freak me out when I was younger. Um, some may even be able to smell death. You may even be able to smell disease. I've also been able to smell disease. I have been able to tell people what sickness they have just by smelling them. And it's something that I'm so sensitive to. As a child, I didn't realize it, that I have programmed myself not to smell through my nose. I actually stopped myself from smelling through my nose. Maybe it's because I grew up in, the Bronx, and I took the subway, and in the 80s, smelled really bad. But no, but I'm able to stop the sense of smell because it would be so strong. So some of you may have that gift and ability as well. Okay, so those are all of the clairs. Okay, now we're going to go into some more common ones. The next one is precognition or premonition. So this is the ability to have a feeling about something. Um, you may say, I don't think I should take this job. Or you may tell someone, I just have a feeling about something, don't do that. Or I have a feeling this is going to be good, right? That's a precognition. You don't really know what it is, but you have this thing where you kind of, I think this is the right thing to do. a lot of you have this gift. This is something that's common. It is a spiritual gift, okay? Everyone doesn't have it. If you have it, you can check that off on your list. The next one is prophecy. So this is a little different from the premonition, where this is like specific, okay? This is like, I had a dream, or I had a vision, or I know that on September the 13th, this thing is going to happen, okay? Or they may tell you something, you're going to marry this person, or this, you may have prophets that speak to you. Now, there's a thing called false prophets, which many of you have come across. Be wary of this. Every psychic is not a prophet. People go to psychics because they want their future predicted. For the most of us that are on this path, you are not supposed to know what your future is. So if someone tells you that I had a prophecy about your future, if that does not resonate with you, if that is not something that you were told, stay clear from it, because you may actually like cause some sort of friction, on your path. There's no mistakes, but you may cause like a detour, okay? But there are some people that can predict things, and most of these people, these prophets, don't say anything because it is something that's kind of like, whoa, how did I know that? Okay. And again, a lot of, not again, but a lot of people that have these gifts, you won't know anything about it because they don't want to say anything about it, because they think that something's off with them. The people that are saying like, oh yes, I have these spiritual gifts and I know this and I know that, those are the ones that you kind of have to be leery of, okay? Because having these gifts is kind of when you first realize you have these gifts, it is a little scary, okay? And you have to get to this place of like, okay, this is what it is. I know these are my gifts. I know this is my magic. Okay, I'm gonna rock with this, and I have to start practicing it, okay? Okay, so let's get into the next one. Telepathy. You know about that. Telepathy, ESP, right? So telepathy is from the word tele, which means communication, okay? And it is the ability to transmit or receive information psychically, okay? Some of you have this ability, or you know of this. I wonder how my friend is doing. I wonder how Melanie's feeling. I've been thinking a lot about her. And, oh, Melanie's calling me? Telepathy, okay? You basically just psychically connected with that person, and they thought of you while you're thinking of them, and then they called you. A lot of you are familiar with this phenomenon, okay? Telepathy is powerful. ESP, powerful. And the things that you can do if you have this ability, you have to start practicing it, okay? With any of these gifts, once you find out that you have these gifts, it is your responsibility to work on these gifts. It is your responsibility to start practicing, doing the work on these gifts. You have them naturally, and you can practice to make these abilities stronger, okay? Mediumship or channeling. A lot of you guys know about Long Island Medium or Hollywood Medium, where people can connect to spirits that are have transitioned. So let's talk about that for a minute. A person is on a physical 3D plane and they transition. Their spirit stays in the esoteric realm, but their soul can come back into another being. As a matter of fact, many souls come back. They keep recycling until they finally get it and say, you know what, I'm not going to go into the light. I'm going to go the other way because I don't want to come back. Okay? But their spirit stays in the esoteric realm, and their spirit stays as what they were when you knew them, or the energy that they were. Okay? But their soul comes back to something else. For example, I've told you that my grandmother's spirit as Grandma Annie. I'm able to communicate with her spirit as my grandmother, but her soul has come back as my daughter. Okay, so she's my daughter that, I can tell what to do, I can guide her, but in the spirit realm, she is my no joke grandmother who's like, Melanie, get your shit together. Like, she goes in on me sometimes. But I hope you understand the difference between the two. So mediumship is the ability to speak to spirits or channel them. So there are people that are able to do this, and they understand that they're able to do this. And then you have people like me who are channeling for all of my life, not knowing what the heck this is. And I thought that this was normal, that I would hear voices and that were not creepy, but I would hear like darling all the time, or darling, go to sleep, or things like that, like when I was stressed out, or get it together, or I would just hear things. And a few years ago, like when I met my I call it Mihimela, my soul sister. We're so connected. We're told we have the same spiritual birth date. And I said, you don't hear those things? And she's like, no, Melanie, that is you. And then I realized that I was channeling. And then when I did a plant ceremony, I started channeling deities and entities that I didn't even know. Like, who's a Osset? I didn't know who Osset was. I didn't know who there were just certain deities that I had, or beings that I didn't even know who they were. And I was channeling them and speaking another language. And that's when I really realized that, wait a minute, I'm like a medium channel. So there are some that are able to get information from deceased spirits, and like Long Island medium, and she's able to say, oh, your grandmother is saying this, or your grandfather Frank, he had this hat that is special to him. And there's other levels where you're able to go in and ask questions and speak, um, and act as a channel. Okay, so the next one, which you guys have heard of, which is becoming more and more popular, is astral projection. It's also called mental projection, or outer body experience. So this is where your consciousness comes out of your physical body and it travels into the astral realm. Now, there are different levels to this. Um, this is something that I am still learning, because when I go into there's different states, we know alpha, delta, theta states. And so let me give you some experiences. You can come out of your body and travel around your house. You can look at yourself. You can look at your family. Um, I've had instances where, for some reason, the first thing I want to do is go in the mirror to see what I look like, and what I will see is like a distorted vision. The last time this happened, I actually saw so many of my past selves, because there was an intention to see who Melanie really is. What do I really look like? And I saw so many of my past lives. It was so amazing. The first time, it freaked me out. It looked like my face was melting. It was just really crazy. But so that's one level. Then there's other levels where you are traveling to another dimension, and like you are meeting up with people that, like, and it's like, hey Tina, hey Bill, and they know you, and it's like, oh, you're going to the store, and there's like a place that you're familiar with that you're traveling to, and that is different. And then you have people who actually intentionally travel places, and we'll talk about that. That's something a little different. So that's astral projection. There are many videos on YouTube that teach you how to astral project. People say, I want to learn how to do that. Again, if you have the gift and ability, let me say this. If this is a gift and ability that you have, there is a certain level of protection that you have with this. If this is not a gift and ability that you naturally have, leave it alone. Don't mess with it, because you may not have that natural protection with it, and you may actually cause yourself to be in difficult situations. And I say that because about a month ago, I astral projected somewhere, and I was in a dangerous place where somebody actually wanted to kill me. But because I was protected, I had two, I guess I call them my angels. I don't know who they were with me, that protected me, and I was able to wake up out of it. So be very careful with this. Don't say, oh, that's a cool one. I want to learn how to astral project. Or that's a cool one. I want to learn how to do this. No, we're talking about gifts, things that you naturally have. Okay. Can you learn how to astral project? I mean, I've seen videos where people talk about how you can learn how to astral project. Um, I'm not saying that you can't. This is something that's natural for me. So I would never try to teach someone how to do it. Again, if it's not a natural gift, I would kind of leave it alone. Okay. Divination. This is another one. This is a popular one. Divination. You guys know what this is, right? This is tarot readings, right? Using the tarot deck, using pendulums. These are using tools outside of yourself to get information, using crystals, just the Ouija board, right? Just using these tools to connect to the spirit realm. Okay. Um, there are certain people that, for example, they're tarot readers because their mother or their grandmother were tarot readers. There are people who use different things, herbs or different things, just to read. This is divination, something physically outside of yourself to get information. If this is not your gift, do not mess with it. Okay. um it is not a gift of mine per se to do tarot, to understand tarot. So I'm not going to just because it's popular go out and buy a tarot deck and start trying to learn and read tarot. No, unless all of a sudden I'm led to do that and I realize that it is a gift of mine. But if it's not something that you're naturally gifted at, and when you know that you just know what it is, you're just led to it, not something that you're interested in. Do not mess with these things, because if it is not a gift, that means you do not have a natural protection, and you are literally opening yourself up to entities, to the spirit realm. And there are low vibrational entities as well as high vibrational entities. And the low vibrational entities are well aware of who is protected, who is what. So again, if it is not your gift, leave it alone. Focus on what your gift actually is. Okay. So those are the common familiar spiritual gifts. So next I'm going to go into the uncommon, unfamiliar spiritual gifts. Number 13. 13. Wow. Okay. So the first one is aura reading. So these are people that can see auras. So we all have an aura around us, okay? Whether you can see it or not, this is our auric energy. And the aura can change. So some people say, my aura is this color, and their aura is always this color. No, your aura can actually change, okay? And there are some people that can see auras, okay? That is not um, a gift that I particularly have. I have seen an aura on someone because I did something, and I was just like, oh, I see an orange glow around you. It was actually my spiritual godmother, and she said, "You see orange?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "That is my auric color," and I was just like, "Whoa!" But that was one time that I was able to see that. I have a friend that called me last week actually, and she said, Melanie, I have to tell you something, and I don't want you to think that I'm weird or anything, but I see colors around people. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, like, there's this particular person, and she has this color around her. It's like this red fuchsia color. And I was like, okay. I explained to her what it was, and I told her, you need to stay away from this person. Okay. Um, and I said, this is a gift that you have. And she was like, oh, I don't, she said, all this stuff that you do, all this stuff, like this is, I'm not about that life. And I said, you don't have to be about that life to have this gift. You have this gift, which makes sense for her to have this gift because of who she is naturally. And I say, use that gift, use that to help you in your career. So if you have this gift, don't be afraid. You need to learn how to strengthen it, and there are ways to strengthen this particular gift. The next one is automatic writing. Now, there's actually a psychological term for this, and I don't know what it is, but this is the ability to write without realizing what you are writing. I also have this ability. Again, I started consciously doing this 3 years ago, but I noticed that I've always written like poetry or just things without me realizing what I'm writing. And as I'm writing it, I have no idea. Sometimes I kind of am in the moment where I can see what I'm writing, but I have no idea what I wrote until I go back and read it. And a lot of times it's like, what in the world? So when I do like my daily spirit medit- information that I give, right? My daily spirit channeling. A lot of the times I write and then I go back and I'm reading it and I'm like, how am I going to share this with people? And I have no idea what this is. And then I kind of get insight on it. And then sometimes it takes a while to get insight. And then sometimes I have written some things or drawn some, now I know they're called sigils. And I have no idea what it is, numbers and degrees of things and words. I have written in languages that it's like, what is this language? Um, and it wasn't for me to know then, and it's for me to know in the future. Sometimes it takes time to know what it is, and sometimes it's information that you need for the day right now. If this is a gift that you have, if it is, it is an amazing gift, use it. You should be meditating every day. We should all be meditating every day. There's no reason not to sit down for at least a minute and get into a meditative state every day. And if you have the gift of automatic writing, amazing, because you're able to get information. Okay. The next one is energy medicine. So we know this better as Reiki, okay? So you're able to heal people energetically, okay? Someone has a headache and you're able to use your hands and place it over their space and heal their headache, or you're able to heal people energetically, usually with your hands. There are other ways you can heal people energetically. If you are familiar with Tantra, then you know that there are ways that you can heal people energetically. If you are in a relationship, if you're married or you have a partner, there are ways that the sexual organs can heal energetically as well, because, for example, the woman's cervix and the tip of the penis, when they connect, it is a woman's heart chakra, okay? Which is why you are not supposed to, women, we are receivers. We should not be sleeping with any and everyone. Don't do it, because you're messing with your heart chakra. When that penis hits the cervix, it is your heart chakra. But if you are in a committed, loving relationship with someone and you're building and you are helping each other, you're growing, when his penis hits that cervix, he's actually helping to heal that heart chakra. And that's why so many relationships are healing. Okay, you have a connection with that person. Okay, so that's a little sidetrack, but obviously that's for one of you to know. Okay, the next one is remote viewing, um, or remote sensing. So here's another one that you have to be careful with. This one, um, actually read a couple of studies where if you have this gift, keep it to yourself. There have been cases where the government have used people that have this ability to spy on other nations and even to spy into other realms. Um, there have been cases where people have done this and have not come back physically, have not awakened. Okay, so this is where I'm able to sit in a room, and I'm able to consciously go somewhere else and see what someone's doing in a space. Okay, without me actually physically being there. Okay, so that is remote viewing. The next one is retrocognition. Okay, so retrocognition is the ability to perceive things in the past, okay, without having read about it or known about it. Okay, so for example, some of us are able to we have this knowledge or this knowing or understanding about past events. We weren't there. We weren't in ancient Kemet or ancient Sumeria or Atlantis, but we just know something about it. We just have this information or this feeling about what it was like. Okay, this also falls in other categories as well. Kind of somewhat in the clairvoyant category, but there's another category that it also falls under. So some people just have this, or some people have this with something else. Okay, so the next one is second sight. Okay, second sight or seer or oracle. This person is the ability to perceive past, future events. Um, these people were highly regarded in ancient times. They were the advice givers. They were usually the ones in communities who were somewhat isolated. Um, this is a gift that I was told that I had back in 1997 when I was 1997. I think in one of my videos I talked about where I was like losing my shit and I wanted to drop out of college because I thought I was going crazy. And I was told then, oh, you're an oracle. And I was like, I think I forgot about it until more recently again when I was told again. And it's like, what the heck is an oracle? And we know the oracle from the Matrix, right? The woman in the kitchen with the kids and she was baking the cookies. And you just have the ability to have information. You're able to directly connect to spirit, get information, and bring it back here. Okay. Um, so that's what someone with second sight is like you have this extra vision, this extra something else, and you're able to perceive past, future, things that are not physical, things that are just a lot of information. Okay. Um, yes. Okay. So the next one is psychometry, excuse me. So it is the ability to perceive information about someone by touch, okay? Or an object by touch. So you're able to pick something up and say, this hat belonged to someone named John, and he was a carpenter. That is actually an ability. People have that. Or you're able to touch someone or know something, or a lot of you empaths have this. Someone's able to touch you and you just feel something not good, something bad about them. Or you're able to feel something about them. Let me say this. If you are empathic, do not allow people to touch you. Be very careful. The shaking of the hands thing, I don't do. People go to shake my hand and I'm sorry, I don't shake hands. I may dab if I feel so inclined, but I'm not going to have you touch my hands. These are energy portals of mine. And I can literally perceive someone's energy through the hands, through touch. So this is a gift that you have. Be very careful about who you touch and who touches you. And some of you are automatically like this, where you don't like to be touched. And you may think like, am I weird because I don't like people touching you? No, this is a gift that you have without you realizing it. So you're not weird. You're not someone who doesn't, I don't like hugs. I don't like people touching me. No, there's a gift, there's a reason behind that. And this is what it is. Okay. The next virtual gift is conjuration, the ability to materialize things out of thin air, right? We see magicians do it. So there are some magicians who are using magician tricks to do it. And then there are some magicians that actually have this ability, that they're able to conjure things out of thin air. How they get that? It's a gift and ability. But again, a lot of people that have these gifts don't talk about it. You've seen the movies, you see what they do with people that have gifts, experiment on them. So people are not inclined to talk about gifts and abilities that they have. Okay. The next one is something called scrying. Scrying. What is scrying? You guys are all familiar with this. You have seen the movie. What movie is it? Snow White, right? Where is it the evil stepmother? I don't know. Where she looks into the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Tell me, mirror, what is it? What is wrong? No, whatever she says. She is scrying, or she looks into the magic ball, and she's able to see things into the crystal ball, or the flames, and you're able to see things in the flames, or a witch is cooking a stew and she's able to see things in the stew, or um tea. You have this Asian thing where people are able to um boil tea and drain the tea, and they're able to see things through the tea to tell you your future. This is scrying. You're able to use other things to basically gain information. Okay. And there are many ways of scrying. Smoke signals. I did a video where I talked about smoke. A basic way of scrying is if the smoke is going straight up, that means the energy in the room is dense. Okay. And you need to cleanse your space. You want the smoke to be flowing. Okay. So this is another form of scrying. Okay. So those are the uncommon, unfamiliar ones that you may have gifts of these. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, I do that. I have that. Okay. So now we're going to get into the fun ones. Not that those weren't fun, but these are the fun ones that you guys are familiar with, that you may think are just in the movies, just in the X-Men movies, or what is X-Men, Marvel, DC? Like, I don't know the difference, but these superhero movies that you think are superhero gifts and abilities. But a lot of these superhero movies are from mythologies, and these mythologies are our mythologies. When I say our, I mean melanated beings. They're not just made up. These things are truth, and there's evidence of these things being truth. And there are people that have these abilities right now that are known, and there are people that have these abilities that don't tell anyone, because what if someone knows that I can actually do this? And if you are listening and you have these abilities, you don't have to tell anyone, but it is your responsibility to learn how to strengthen it. And how you learn how to strengthen it, there are YouTube videos, there are books. If you have an ability and you don't want to talk about it publicly, you can always email me and I will give you resources to help you strengthen these abilities. Okay. And I will keep it on the hush because I understand. I just understand. Okay. So let's talk about the first one, which is psychokinesis, telekinesis, right? So in X-Men, what is the guy? I forgot his name. Xavier, I think it is. I don't know. But he's able to, I'm probably saying the wrong name, but let's break down kinesis. Kinesis is from kinesthetic, which means movement, essentially. So someone who is psychokinesis is able to move things and manipulate things with their mind. they're able to use their mind to take this mouse and fling it across the room, okay? They just look at something and can move objects with their mind. Is it real? Does it exist? Absolutely. Okay. The next one is telekinesis. So this one is a little, it's like psychokinesis, um, very similar. It's just called telekinesis, where you're able to, again, move things with the mind. What is the difference between the two? Technically, the difference between the two is one is using, there is a difference between the two. One is psychic energy, one is telekinetic energy. So one is objects that you may be able to move larger objects with control, and one is just smaller objects with a lack of control. Okay. So one is I'm able to say I'm going to lift this phone up and place it on the table. And one is I'm moving things without realizing that I'm moving things because I may be out of control. Okay. So those are the two, and they're very much interchangeable, but one is called telekinesis, one is called psychokinesis. Okay. I hope I explained that. Okay. So the next one is hydrokinesis, the ability to control water without touching it. Okay. So again, this is a gift and ability. Um, for the most part, many of us are also able to do this within our bodies. We are able to um, use water to do what we want to do with it. I spoke about this in one of my a couple of my videos. We can change the crystallization in water and then tell the water what to do in our bodies or around us. That is a little different from hydrokinesis, where we're able to take water and form it into something or do things with it. Okay. Again, that is another ability. Okay. The next one is pyrokinesis. So hydrokinesis, hydro, water, kinesis, movement, pyro, fire, kinesis, movement. We're able to move fire without touching it. Okay. We are able to, people that are able to manipulate fire or shoot fire from their hands or make fire move and do different things. Okay. The next one is electrokinesis, the ability to control electricity with the mind. Okay. Um, there's some of us who have, if your energy is high enough or strong enough, you are able to move electricity because of that energy signature. What do I mean by that? It is uncontrolled, though. This is different from electrokinesis. You're very upset about something. You walk into a room and the lights flicker. Okay. Um, you short the battery out of 2 cars, like I did this summer. You're able to do things through electricity, with electricity, without knowing it. Some of us are able to do that. Electrokinesis is when you are willingly able to do that. Turning off lights, turning off the computer, shutting things down. Okay. Okay. The next one is biokinesis, the ability to change DNA. Bio, life, kinesis, movement, the ability to change your DNA. So we see this in the movie X-Men with guys, I'm not like, I don't watch these movies that much, but it's the woman who changes her body into like this, what is her name? Into this blue thing, like a serpent thing, and I think she has red hair, and she's able to change back to a normal looking person. You're able to change your DNA into what you want to change it as. Okay. Change into other things. Okay. That's biokinesis. Chronokinesis is the ability to alter, so chrono is time, kinesis is movement, the ability to alter time. within yourself and within others, which is someone who can make someone feel like time is speeding up or slowing down, or they can actually manipulate time within themselves. So without realizing it, again, there are many people that also have this gift where you're like, oh my gosh, I felt like I had a dream for 2 hours and it was 2 minutes. That's a form of chronokinesis. Okay. Um, Let me give you an example of I tried to practice this last week. I went a whole day without sleeping last Tuesday. I didn't sleep Monday, Tuesday. I had the opportunity on no Sunday, Monday, I didn't sleep. I had the opportunity on Tuesday to sleep, but I had to wake up like in a few hours. So I said, I'm going to sleep. I have a 3-hour window to sleep. This 3 hours is going to have to be worth 8 hours of sleep. So I went into a deep sleep for about 2 hours and I woke up totally refreshed. I don't know if I did the chronokinesis thing, but I was able to do something where that period of time felt longer than what it actually was. Okay. So the next one is, we see this in all superhero movies, levitation or flying. And so we are conditioned that people can't fly. That's not true. It is absolutely true. It is not just Superman or Superwoman. Some of you have had dreams where you are flying in other realms. Why don't we fly in this realm? Because we're taught that we can't. Babies, toddlers don't have the mentality that they can't fly because they just came from a realm where they were flying. So what does your toddler do? What does your toddler son do? Any of you that have toddlers, what do they do? They climb up on the couch and they dive off because in their mind, they're going to go flying. And they fall. And do they break something? No, because they don't have the fear of breaking something. Now, if we grown behind people jump off of something, jump out of a building, we're going to break bones because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm flying. Can we fly? Abso-freaking-lutely. If that's your gift, you can do it. Are there some people that can levitate? No. Yes. Are there cases of people that can levitate? Absolutely. This whole idea of gravity is not what we think it is. You know how we know that? There's so many experiments that disprove gravity, right? Okay. There are insects that levitate. The bumblebee. Do you see how heavy that bumblebee's body is? Have you ever picked up a dead bumblebee? Do you see how light their wings are? How can their wings possibly hold that body up? It's because they're levitating. In ancient Egyptian Kemet, on the writings on the walls, or there was a insect called a scarab that levitated. Okay, ancient Mayan texts, there was levitation. Planes levitated. Okay, they didn't have the engines and whatever. There was levitation. The pyramids, these things levitated, which means that it is possible. There is a separation of gravity and us. So levitation is possible, which means flying is possible. Where the heck do you think they got the idea of Superman from? You think, what is his name, Stanley or whoever it was like, let me think of a man who can, where do you think that came from? Remember, we are creators. Everything comes from us. It wasn't just made up. It actually happened. It actually happens, okay? So levitation. The next gift is psychic surgery, okay? This is the ability to remove diseases or disorders in the body by a surgery, uh, making incisions and going in, healing stuff and closing those incisions up. We see this in movies where people have gunshot wounds, right? I just saw something the other day. I think it was called Wu Assassin on Netflix. I started watching it. And there was a healer who was able to heal someone. So the guy had the woman had a gunshot wound, and he was able to do something and like pull out the bullet and then heal the wound, and then she had normal flesh. Okay, is that possible? Yes. Okay. All right, so the next one is called apportation. So this is the ability of, it's a combination of telekinesis and conjuring. So it's the ability to materialize something and then teleport it. So I can materialize something out of thin air and then move it somewhere. It's a two-in-one. So as I told you, some gifts, some people just have one. You may be able to conjure, or you may be able to apport, maybe to conjure and have telekinetic abilities in one. Okay, so those are what I call the X-Men gifts. Okay, so this one is, I call it a new gift. Okay, and I have seen this happen quite often with people that I know. This is a personal experience with regards to the twin flame relationship. So it's called cyber telepathy. It is the ability to be telepathic or psychic with technology, with computers, cell phones, or televisions. So firsthand experience is with a twin flame, because with a twin flames are able to communicate with each other um, telepathically, even if they are not in union, even if they are not in physical communication, because one is just separate from the other, because there's work to be done before the twins can unionize and become the one that they truly are. And so it's often that the one, especially now, because of what's happening now, where the divine feminine is like, if you are not in union with your divine masculine, divine feminine is like, I'm over here, like I'm done with him. And the divine masculine is like, wait, I'm still working on some things, like don't leave yet, give me a minute. And messages will be sent through dreams, through whatever. But what I've been, a couple of people that I've been talking to have been telling me that it's been happening through cell phones. So they've been seeing the name come up randomly, okay? Or a song come up that is that person's song. Like, not I'm just scrolling through YouTube and, oh, I see their song because of the algorithm. I mean, like, the phone is just down and all of a sudden a song is just playing. You're not touching it and a song just starts playing. Or you're watching a YouTube video and the name just shoots across the screen. Okay, that is that other twin communicating with you, like, hey, don't forget me. Or that is the common thing that I've been seeing lately for those twins that are not in union. Now, cyber telepathy can happen with regards to anyone communicating with anyone over technology, but I've seen it, the evidence of it with twin flames, even on television, where you just happen to be watching something on TV, and then that's when someone with the same exact name is like a newscaster that's just a visiting newscaster for that day and that you've never seen before, or something that's out the blue. That is that person communicating with you. In the 3D realm, they're not communicating with you because they may be doing something else, but there's the soul of them, the spirit of them is connecting to your spirit, to your physical being, saying, hey, I'm still working on some things, or hey, like don't forget me, or hey, can you help me? Okay. And I'm not going to get into the whole twin flame thing now. I have a lot to say about it, and I may or may not do a video on that, because there's so much information out here with regards to that. And all I have to say is, don't believe the hype. Make sure that you are listening to people who are speaking truth. Um, and if you are interested in, I know that there are a couple of readers who speak truth with regards to twin flame relationships. If you're interested, ask me. You can send me an email. I will send you the information. because I know that they're speaking truth and facts and not the fluff, make you feel good stuff. Okay, so that's cyber telepathy. I don't know why I went to a whole twin flame thing, but obviously some of you needed to hear that. So here's the last one, number 33. Finally, we're on number 33. This last one is called energy manipulation or energy work. It is the ability to manipulate physical or non-physical energy with one's mind. So if you are an empath, you have this. If you are in my soul group, you automatically have this. You are a winner. You have this gift, okay? This gift is the ability to control energy. When you walk into the room, you control the energy of that space. You have that power. You have that authority. You have to learn how to use it. If you are at a high vibrational place and everyone in that room is at a low place, you are so powerful that you're able to walk into that room and make people feel good. I had this experience at a restaurant with my daughters, and my daughters also have gifts. And we went rather early, and there may have been a couple other people there. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock. And we were eating and we were having this good time and laughing and talking. And then this couple comes in with this baby, two babies. There's a little baby and like a toddler. And this toddler, clearly, as a mother, I knew that somebody let him take a nap at 4 or 5 o'clock when he shouldn't have been taking a nap. And then they woke him up. And so toddlers are like, you know, as parents, we know that you don't let them go to sleep until it's time to go to sleep. You don't let them go to sleep before their bedtime because they're going to be cranky, then they're going to be up all night. So they woke him up. It was about 6 something, and he was not having it. When I say he was not having, he wanted no parts of that restaurant. He wanted no parts of it. Dad was obviously trying to have a dinner, and the mom was frustrated and embarrassed, as most mothers are, because my baby's crying. It's people in the restaurant. She's trying to wrangle him. Dad's trying to take him from the mom. And I'm, as a melanated, they were, I don't know if they were not melanated parents. And, as a melanated parent, I was like, oh, get that child into, like, what is going on? I wanted to go there and say, sit down. Like, I just wanted to take control of the situation. So my daughters are feeling my energy and like, oh gosh, like mommy, like everything in me, the mother in me wanted me to go to the mom, because she's like, little Johnny, stop crying, little Johnny. It's okay. Oh my gosh, we're not gonna be able to eat. And she's mad at the husband, like, let's just go. Let's just order takeout and go. And he's like, no, we want to have a family dinner. Sit down, Johnny. And so he's yelling at little Johnny, and the mom is like, Johnny, please, please be quiet, Johnny. And I'm just like, is she begging little Johnny to be quiet? So anyway, I was a little like on edge for a minute, and I was just like, look, as a mother, I understood the plight, but I didn't like the way that she was, with the child. And so I just chose to ignore it. So I was like, you're not gonna ruin my dinner. So little Johnny sits down, but he's still screaming and doing the most. And so my daughter tells a joke about something that I did with one of them back in the day when they were like having a temper tantrum with my youngest daughter. And so we start laughing hysterically. And my oldest daughter has this loud laugh. And so she lets out this loud laugh. And so she's so loud that we started laughing louder because she's so loud. And so we're in the corner of the restaurant, like cracking up, laughing hysterically. And then all of a sudden, we hear little Johnny laughing. And so the mom says, it's funny, it's funny, little Johnny. Their laughing is making you laugh too. And so little Johnny starts laughing. And then little Johnny never cried after that. Little Johnny wanted his food. He had his food. He was laughing. He was happy. So at the end, after we finished eating, I went over to the mom and I said, it's going to be okay. He was feeding off of your energy. I hope you're enjoying your meal. And she said this to me. Oh, the husband said this to me. He said, who are you? And I said, what do you mean? He said, are you famous or something? And I was like, I am not anybody famous. He's like, you look familiar. Who are you? And he was really serious about that. And I was like, well, my daughters think I'm famous. And I was making a joke. And he was like, who is she? And it wasn't that he recognized me. I don't think I look like anybody. I think it was the fact that my energy signature, he felt it, you know? And the little Johnny did too. And I, bye, little Johnny, you know? And then we walked out the restaurant. So what I'm saying to you is that you, my soul family, whom I love dearly, you guys have this gift of energy manipulation. You are able to manipulate energy. If you are feeling down or bad or have low vibrational energies, and you walk into a room, you're going to cause everyone in that space to also feel that. So control your space, okay? Especially around these holiday times. During these holiday times, a lot of us is like, oh, I got to be around my family, and Uncle Leroy's going to be drunk and acting a fool. I just don't want to be around them. Don't go in like that. You go in with, you know what? I'm going to have Uncle Leroy sit down and be quiet, and Aunt Mabel and Aunt Sylvia is not going to have a fight about whose macaroni and cheese is the best. Like, you have the authority to walk into that space and command what's going to happen. And you can have everyone talking about what you want them to talk about. You can be whatever it is, you have the power, the energy signature to do that. So I'm telling you guys to do that. Okay. So with that said, 33 spiritual gifts. I don't hope. I know that you guys have resonated with at least one. Everyone has resonated with one, the one I just said, and at least more than one. 2, 3, 5. You don't just have one gift. You can have half of these can be gifts. Okay. You can have more than one gift. Um, please use them responsibly. You are accountable for your gifts once you know you have them. You have work to do. You don't just have the right to say, oh, I have a gift. Yes, I have a gift and I can do this. No, there's a responsibility to that. You were given it for a reason. So you need to start practicing using this gift and use it for the right purposes. If you are pyrokinetic, you have pyrokinesis, don't be like, oh, I'm going to get back at my ex-boyfriend. I'm going to burn down their house. Don't do that, right? We have these gifts um, to help us, to help each other on this mission. For those of us who are on a mission, that have responsibilities to help us, to help the collective, to help the group. Okay, we have to learn how to practice them and start using them. Okay, so with that said, I'm excited to have been able to share this with you. If this resonated with you, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you have general questions, leave it in the comment section below. If you like this video, select the like button. If this resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. Share it with a friend who may know that may have gifts. If you are scared or feel unsure, don't be scared. Don't be unsure. A lot of us are just realizing our gifts at this time. And actually, the ancient books, like the Book of Enoch, talked about a lot of us becoming aware of gifts at this time. It's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing negative or bad or demonic or evil about it at all. It is all good as long as you're using it properly. Okay, if you have any personal questions, please email me at thespiritdoula@gmail.com. And if you feel like you need some spiritual counseling or just more guidance than just me answering the question, via YouTube or by email, you can go to my website, www.thespiritdoula.com, and you can book a spiritual counseling session with me, or I even have natal chart readings as well. Okay, so again, my love to you. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.